What is her foreign policy? This is where the president has his most impact. You have a lot of room to maneuver there as commander-in-chief. We don't know who she is. We don't know what she believes. She's going to get paralyzed in the Situation Room while the generals have their way with her. Right now,
Jesse
Whoa, Jesse, I don't like that.
Figuratively,
Take
again,
it back.
have their way with her, control her.
Well, there you have Fox News host Jesse Waters tapping into what he does best, which is engage in misogynistic rhetoric. And if he is genuinely blind to what Kamala Harris supports in terms of foreign policy, all he needed to do was just listen to her DNC speech where she was insanely hawkish. In fact, here's a reminder of that.
As commander-in-chief, I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world. I will make sure that we lead the world into the future on space and artificial intelligence, that America, not China, wins the competition for the 21st century, and that we strengthen, not abdicate, our global leadership. As president, I will stand strong with Ukraine and our NATO allies. I will always stand up for Israel's right to defend itself, and I will always ensure Israel has the ability to defend itself.
Hey, don't scroll away. Come back. Because before the video continues, we just want to urge you to lend your support to TYT. You power our honest reporting. You do it at tyt.com/team, and we love you for it.
Now, Jesse Waters got so much pushback for what he said that he later came back to explain himself. We'll go to that video in just a moment. But Cenk, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, look, I'm not even sure that he meant it originally, but when they challenged him on it, he did that smirk, like, haha, I meant it. So look, I'm conflicted on it because I hate it. It's dumb. It belittles her. It creates a visual. So on the other hand, just keep giving us the election. Just keep giving it to us, right? Because yeah, I know there's like 7 women who watch Fox News, mainly like 89-year-old men. But those, however many women are watching, they're not gonna like that talk. Oh, you got to be vice president. It's probably because the generals are gangbanging you. Okay, all right, keep saying it. Keep saying it. Okay, and so
look,
like that's what they always do. And who's the moral cancer of the right wing? Their leader, Donald Trump. He's the one that insinuated that she slept her way to the top. He did it immediately. If you're not listening to right-wing voters, they're a mixed bag, right? But right-wing leaders these days, if you listen to them in the media and in politics, no woman has ever earned anything, right? They're all slap this, blah, 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 stupid, blah. They're gross. They're just freaking gross.
Yeah, I feel like some of that rhetoric lay dormant for a while, and now Kamala Harris being the nominee has made all of, they can't help themselves. So
that's it right there. They can't help it because they believe it so much in their core. Like the Republicans could so easily win elections if they just took out the hate. Like if they said, hey, we should close the border, but we love Latinos and immigrants, but you got to come in the right way. That would be a super popular position, right?
Well, that's
but they can't help but go, they're rapists and criminals and I hate every Latino that crosses the border and they're all terrorists. Well, all right, then you're gonna turn off Latinos, you idiots, but they can't help themselves.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why I asked Charlie Kirk when we were at the DNC, okay, look, you have your beliefs, that's fine, but a lot of political maneuvering and strategy has to do with putting your own emotional feelings aside and thinking about messaging and what you can do to communicate in a way that's appealing to a broader group of people. So I asked him, can you at least understand how, when it comes to optics, telling people in America that they don't have an investment in this country's future because they don't have kids is gonna turn people off. It's not the best political messaging.
Yeah, we're gonna come back to Jesse Waters in a second, but look, this is a thing that's not getting enough attention. J.D. Vance said he believes in getting rid of no-fault divorces. So he said, even if you're in a violent marriage, at least you stay together for the kids, etc. What are you, nuts? You nuts? So now these idiots are coming in and telling us, now, okay, this is when you can get married, this is when you can get divorced, this is when you can have sex, this is who you can have sex with, this is when you can't have it, control your own body, etc. Now, if you're in an unhappy marriage, JD Vance is going to decide whether you get divorced or not, and he's going to forbid you from living your own life.
Sounds like freedom to me.
What part of this is freedom, right? That's because what they are is they're authoritarian Christian nationalists by nature, okay? Now, Trump might not be a Christian nationalist, he gets votes from them, but they're both authoritarian, and they when you get to categories that are not them, right? Like in this case, white men. Oh, they're like, women, yeah, they did. None of them earned it. None of them earned it. None of the women earned it. None of the minorities earned it. It's all DEI. It's all affirmative action. Oh, no way, no way. Remember Sotomayor went to Princeton on the Supreme Court, and they're like, oh yeah, I wonder how she got in. No matter who it is, Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, every time it's a black person, I wonder how they got in. Really, Barack Obama is about 10,000 times smarter than your dumbass leader, Donald Trump. I wonder how he got into Penn. Are you kidding me? His daddy got him, and that's why he hides his grades.
Yeah, look, there are a ton of very successful conservative women in the country. And so think about that. They are communicating to conservative women who are more likely to support them in elections. You didn't earn it. You probably engaged in sexual favors, and that's how you got to where you are.
They're so stupid.
It's not, it's just, look, I'm way past letting any of these guys get under my skin in any way, which is why, like, for the most part, I ignored Jesse Waters. This story kind of blew up, and that's why we're talking about it. But Jesse Waters, to me, it just reeks of, please pay attention to me.
Yeah.
And I find him boring, and I will not allow him to get under my skin, right? Like, I'm not gonna let him determine how I view myself and value myself.
Well, that's definitely right, but we're still allowed to make fun of him and hate him and all that stuff. So, but I'll tell you real quick, in football, there was a guy named Dirty Waters, and I hate to compare Jesse Waters to him because he was a good football player, but I think the same thing happened, and this was my theory of Dirty Waters a million years ago, which is that once he got known for dirty hits, he did more of them because he liked the attention. He liked being Dirty Waters. And Jesse Waters is almost the same exact way. Now that he's known as like a dirty pervert and like always making inappropriate comments, he gets off on it.
Yeah.
So he wants to do more and more, so he's known as Jesse Dirty Waters, and he goes home and gets,
Although
enjoys that.
If JD Vance had his way and was able to outlaw no-fault divorces, I mean, it would impact someone like Jesse Waters, who left his wife and family in order to enter a new marriage with a producer he was cheating on his wife with.
Yeah, and it was his fault, but still, I don't know if that's allowed or not allowed, or if his wife would have to be stuck with this loser for the rest of her life. I mean, what an insane policy. By the way, Donald Trump's been divorced 3 times, so what are you gonna, or twice, he's had 3 wives. So what are you gonna do? Does he have to go to the original wife? Oh, he can't, because he buried her in his golf course for a tax break.
Yeesh. Okay, so Jesse Waters felt the need to explain himself after getting a lot of backlash. Let's hear what he had to say.
There's been some attention to comments I made on the show yesterday about VP Harris. People are misconstruing my comments to mean something inappropriate. I wasn't suggesting anything of a sexual nature. I was expressing my opinion that Vice President Harris's current leadership style could be an issue if elected.
Okay.
Yeah. And by the way, that has nothing to do with Kamala Harris. And you know who gets treated roughly and hence does whatever the generals want? Almost every president, right? So they come in there and they're like, oh, sir, if you leave Iraq or Afghanistan, that'll be just terrible. Like, I'm reading more about H.R. McMaster, who was the national security advisor for Trump, who's now speaking out against Trump. He's like the worst guy in the world. So like, yeah.
McMaster or Trump?
McMaster. Okay.
Yeah, McMaster sucks.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So like he's saying things that are true about Trump. Okay, but both things can be true. They could both suck, right? And McMaster's like, oh, I can't believe that Trump was manipulated into leaving Afghanistan. No, you were trying to manipulate him into staying in Afghanistan.
And it didn't work, and that's why he's salty about it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Look, please don't get mad at me and please understand where I'm coming from. But the one thing that I will say about Trump that I enjoyed was the fact that he would like unman all of these like gross military war hawks, like generals, and like he didn't let them manipulate him when it came to things like pulling out of Afghanistan. And he does deserve some credit for that.
No, he did two very good things, but the rest were all pro-war, pro-generals and stuff. So he did started the pullout from Afghanistan, which he, of course, then he criticizes Biden for. Long story. And then the second thing was after the Soleimani strike, our guys wanted to hit Iran again, and he said no, and he deserves a lot of credit for that one. But everything else he did, including killing Soleimani, moving our embassy in Israel, doing nonstop drone strikes, etc., all provocative. The bombing of Syria, all provocative, trying to start a bigger war in the Middle East. I don't know that he was trying to start it, but the generals were trying to start it, and he went along with everything but two things.
Yeah, you're right about that. And when it came to the drone strikes, Trump expanded the drone strikes so much that the White House stopped reporting on it. Because the State Department would put out a report about the drone strikes. They just stopped reporting on it altogether.
Yeah, look, man, just give me one president who is both smart and courageous. And just, I would grill those generals so hard on what their actual policies are, what their plans are, not policies, because they're always like, oh, if we just stay a little longer, if we just start one more war in the Middle East. Yeah, really, play that one out for me. How does it end?
Yeah.
Okay, we go and bomb Iran on behalf of Israel. Tell me what happens next, and after that, and after that. Go ahead, game out. Oh, look, it cost us $28 trillion to fight that war. Oh, look at how many Americans died. And what did you, oh, but yes, you're gonna retire, become a defense contractor and get millions of dollars, right? Right? Because almost all of the generals do that. Our generals are also enormously corrupt.